Welcome to
The Glue Pod.
Hosted by Aaron Glukov.
Can we check in?
featuring musicians, boxers, and some of the shit.
Let's start the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Glue Pod. This is your host, Aaron Glukov, and I'm back here for my second episode with Mr. Raphael Akpejiori. How you doing, man?
Doing well, my brother. How's it going?
It's good, man. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for coming out. And
Yes,
for those of you who don't know, Raphael he's a heavyweight contender, 8-0, 8 knockouts, and he's got his 9th fight, January 23rd, which we're going to touch base about in a little bit. Yeah, man. How's the training going? How's camp?
It's hard as you know how it is. I
Yeah.
don't have to tell you. You see me every day do this. So
Yeah, man.
It's really hard, man. But we're gonna be ready when the bell rings. That's what I try to put in my mind. So you kind of leave no stones unturned.
Absolutely. And are you splitting your time between Soulbox and Tropical?
No, my head coach is Glenn Johnson. You know that. The
Yeah.
assistant coach is Jose Roman. So Jose Roman trains most of the amateurs at Tropical Park.
Right.
And Glenn trains most of the pros and some amateurs at Body and Soul. So sometimes, Glenn gets over, he wants Jose to see some things with us or teach us some things, and Jose sends us back. So that's why you see us at Tropical Park most times, and then you see us at Body and Soul. Then, sometimes they switch. Glenn sends us there, Jose comes over.
Right.
So.
I know. I know Jose once told me, he's like, the only guy Glenn thinks who knows anything about boxing at Tropical is me.
That is true. Jose knows a lot, man.
He
I
does.
like talking shit with Jose a lot,
Me too.
He's my shit talking sparring partner. And every time, the first couple times I beat him, he was laughing. And the last time he beat me, I was just so hurting, because he talked shit and he talked over you. So you can't even talk your shit and let people hear it. So you're just laughing at you. So, I love Jose, man. He's the man.
He's the man, dude. But he's a trip. And
Yeah, he's very knowledgeable about boxing too,
Absolutely.
And you'd be surprised every time I go there. I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about here. Oh, that's what they were talking about here. Everything just makes sense when Jose is with you. Glenn is also very knowledgeable about boxing.
Yeah.
But Jose, I think, learned boxing from Glenn, according to their old fairy tales.
Yeah. You know how that goes. It's funny because
Yeah.
I have another a friend in the music community, Eric Garcia, and he used to train at the Grove Gym that Glenn was coming up,
Yeah.
and they're around the same age.
Yeah.
And maybe Glenn's a little older, and Eric was in some kind of gym war, sparring, got his nose broke,
Yeah.
big time, one of those shots, like a hook to the side of the nose, bad. And like, he didn't take enough rest, it didn't heal, and like, got back into sparring, and it just kept bleeding, and it just became one of those things. So Glenn nicknamed him Nose. He just kept calling him Nose.
Sounds like Glenn.
Yeah, man.
He's a consistent shit talker. Glenn is.
He is. He's intense.
You've
man.
been to our main gym.
Yeah.
It's just a daily dose of trash talking each other.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. I love the vibe. I love the energy in that place.
I do too, and it's funny because I really like Glenn. He reminds me of, like, when I was fencing when I was a kid, like, I had a really tough coach, really tough, and Glenn is one of those guys, like, he's no bullshit, and, my first time ever training with Glenn, he was just like, all that shit you're doing is bullshit, what I mean? He's like, you haven't learned anything, this is day one, and I dig that, like, I embrace that sort of, because you know how it is. I know when you came up in the amateurs, you had a different coach, so, and you switched to Glenn, I'm sure he broke you down.
It wasn't funny because when I was coming from the amateurs I had about 14 fights. I had 13 wins, 1 loss. I lost in the Golden Gloves. It was just a terrible day that day. And I was coming off of 10 knockouts. You know, I was feeling myself. Yo, regardless of what happened, I'm gonna erase that thing. You know, I'm gonna knock you. You know.
Right.
So I showed Glenn my amateur tapes. I mean, my amateur videos, all of it. I put it somewhere on YouTube that nobody will ever find.
Yeah.
I named it over under something on YouTube that no one would ever find, and I sent it to Glenn, and he watched everything. He was like, "Dude, you suck, man. What you mean I suck? Like, this is horrible. This is terrible. Like." I was like, I saw one of the fights and I couldn't watch it. Like, you're just bad. Like, what do you mean I'm bad? I just knocked out 10 grown men, like, straight.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you suck. This is, like, I don't even know what, you just come back to the gym tomorrow and we'll figure it out. And he made me feel so bad about those tapes. I used to watch those tapes every day and be like, yo, I'm good, man. You know. But after he trashed me like that, to this day, I've never watched any of those tapes. I've never watched my amateur tapes since that time. You know, Glenn is that kind of person. He's just a brutal person. You know, he's just an older guy who, he doesn't have time to bullshit you.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
You know, he's not trying to stroke your ego. I was in the gym one day and some kid tried to come fight. And the first sparring session, I think in the first round he was talking a lot. You know how people talk when they come to the gym for the first time, and we just laugh because we know what's coming.
Right.
You know,
Right.
He got hit one time. He turned his back and left, and Glenn was like, "Bro, don't have to do that again, man. I'm gonna give." And in my mind, we knew that was his last chance because it happened before.
Right.
This was like 2 months ago. The second time he came back, the second time he came to the gym. He sparred my boy Jordan. Sparred with my boy Jordan. He went through the first round, all breathing and stuff. You know, when you hit in the back, you can go 10 straight rounds just hitting. But when you're in the ring with somebody, things different. You know, he was breathing the first round. The second round, he got hit. I think he got clocked. He turned around and just like, I'm done. Glenn was like, yo, get the fuck out of my gym. You're fat. Don't ever come. You know what? Just finish your month. And just you got to consider boxing is for you. I don't think boxing is for you. Get out. Don't ever come back here again. You know, I'm like, Glenn, goddamn, bro. You good? Like, I mean, he's very passionate about boxing. He doesn't care about. He doesn't want that kind of energy, regardless of how much you pay. It doesn't matter how much you pay. It's like, dude, this is a boxing gym. We're trained to kill.
Right.
You know, every day we're trained to decapitate another human being. So you have to take it seriously for yourself first.
Absolutely.
Because his job is to train you, but his primary job is to literally protect you when you're getting killed, to take you out of the ring, you know?
Well,
so,
and that's the thing is, like, I don't think a lot of people, and you notice now with the Ryan Garcia, well, he's a legit killer, but I'm talking about the YouTubers coming up, kind of like Jake Paul and that whole thing. People, like, even in my little, you know, social media platform as a musician posting things about what I'm doing in fights and amateur boxing, you know, I might get a comment on there like, yeah, we should spar sometime, or I love it, or just people who have no idea what that really means, don't understand that what this shit is really about, what you're talking about. Like when you get in that ring, there's no
guarantee you come outside alive.
Yeah. You could come out of that shit different.
Yeah.
And, you know, Glenn, what I appreciate about Glenn is, like, you know, he's projecting the seriousness of what the fuck this is about in that gym every day. And it's like, and, you know, I mean, as a pro, when you're going in there, 8-ounce gloves, no headgear, and I mean, it's a war, man. Like, and it's like people who don't know boxing, they've never been, like, inside of boxing, inside the gym, inside the process, or they've never been hit, even with 16-ounce gloves in a sparring session with headgear and all that. Like, just seeing things from the outside, it's just so different than when you really experience it. It's the same thing in music. You know, there's so many things. There's so many. You know, I'm a professional drummer. There's so many great drummers I watch on YouTube, and just seeing them do something, you may think, oh, I could capture this for myself. But then when you try to do it yourself, it's like, wow, there are so many.
There's so many layers to it, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a level of seriousness that you accomplish where it's like there's no going back. You know, you have to be dedicated and devoted to the craft.
Yeah.
You know, I see people on the streets every day like, oh, you don't look mean. You gotta walking like you're a god. I'm like, bro, boxing is a very poetic sport. You know, it's such happiness. Yeah, we trade in violence. You see it as violence, but we see it more as art.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
yesterday I was doing a photo shoot with a guy that I spar. He's the IBF Intercontinental Champion, Christian Thune. Amazing dude, man. I love the kid. You know, and you would think that a person on the street would think that every time I see him, I should just be lacing blows and talking shit with him. But nah, that's not how it is, man. You know, there's a different element to it, and you only really appreciate it if you're in it, because you see the next guy and you know how he got there.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you see boxers go to war, and after the round is over, they hug it out and they're talking. And like, bro, yo, we're just talking shit. Like, you guys should just start kicking each other now.
Right.
Like, nah, bro, this is not how we do it here.
Yeah. So where are you in your training camp right now? Because I know you got we're like 13 days out or something.
Mm-hmm.
So do you ramp down in your last week, or are you still?
We're still finishing the sparring sessions. With strength and conditioning, I don't know. But I know that we've been doing a lot of what Joey Scott, Truth Athletic, he calls a t-shirt workout. More of a preservation mode. Nothing heavy, more body weight stuff. But I'm guessing he's gonna be ramping down for now. You know, with Glenn and Jose, I don't know what's on their mind. They're straight killers, you know, so nothing really changes for them. It's go, 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 stay on that level. And Joey is the one who brings it up or down with strength and conditioning. So that's where we are right now. I mean, like I said, I never tell myself I'm ready until the bell rings. So if you ask me, are you ready? I will tell you that I'll be ready when that bell rings. So that I know that I have something to always work toward instead of being comfortable where I'm at.
Yeah. So you're going to be sparring all the way up until the week of?
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
It depends on who you're sparring and
Right.
what they know is being done.
Yeah.
You know, if I mean, the hard sparrings are going probably last week and this past week. The ramp through, I mean, sparring is sparring, so there's really no hard sparring or easy sparring. But we're trying to go as fast as we can right now. I mean, we try to bring up speed. We're already strong. We're already in shape. So we're trying to pick up the speed now and be accurate. So if we don't feel like we have what we need this week, next week we're going to have maybe one or two, you know, and kind of like find other times to rest through or other times to shake out.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right now.
That's good, man. Well, I want to just, before we get too deep into it, I just want to kind of back it up, because you've had a really interesting road to this boxing game. I
Yes,
mean,
sir. My life is amazing, man. I'll tell you that.
Hey, and you know what? I got to say, man, like, having a narrative that you have is going to be super important for you, man. Like, in your career, I think it's awesome, because I think people they dig that side of this, the human side of this, and like the fact that you've you've immigrated to this country. Can you just talk about a little bit about that? Like, you're from Nigeria, born there. How long were you in Africa